There is some very interesting news coming from Tesla Giga Berlin today. Do you remember those vehicles that Giga Berlin was making while in test phase before the opening? Those vehicles were not allowed for sale, and Tesla had to document all those vehicles, where they are, and if Tesla had already disposed them, had evidence for the disposal. Well, things are changing. Tesla is now allowed to sell those vehicles from test phase of the Giga Berlin plant after all. Now, the US electric car group Tesla is allowed to sell vehicles that were manufactured during the plant test and the factory at Giga Berlin, and thus before the final approval notice. I mean, these vehicles were made at Giga Berlin before the final approval. The Brandenburg State Office for the Environment, I will refer to that as LFU, State Office for the Environment, the responsible approval authority, informed the RBB on request. RBB is Brandenburg's public radio. Now, even before the final approval for the plant in Grünheide, the LFU, the Brandenburg State Office for the Environment, had repeatedly granted the car manufacturer Tesla conditional partial approvals for the construction and testing of individual factory parts. Such advance approvals are provided for the Federal Immission Control Act, with one of the last partial approvals at the beginning of January 2022, the authority approved the production of those vehicles up to 2,000 vehicle bodies for test purposes only. The condition was this: the products, those vehicles, those Model Y electric vehicles, should then only be used for internal purposes or scrapped. The LFU ruled out the sale of the first Giga Berlin Teslas from the outset. Tesla could not sell this vehicle after all. The condition stated this, I'm going to quote: "The parts and bodies produced during the system tests may not be used as goods for sale." End of the quote. Instead, Tesla had to document the whereabouts of the cars manufactured during this testing period, and in the event of scrapping, provide evidence of this. Now, Tesla still wants to sell to end users some of the affected cars. I mean, think about this. Some of these cars may be in perfect conditions because, after all, Tesla realized that it is able to make perfect cars at the Giga Berlin plant. Then the approval came. Now, this Tesla's desire to sell to the end users and the way we knew it emerges from documents that the group sent to the LFU in June and which have now become public. A citizen had requested access to the state government's files and asked about the whereabouts of the electric cars built for test purposes at Giga Berlin. He then made the partially blacked out papers public anonymously on the Fragdenstadt.de website at the beginning of July. Several media had reported on this. Since several media had reported, that's why I'm reporting it, because I'm not in favor of, you're asking documents and then you're anonymously making it public. If it's not supposed to be public, then it's not supposed to be public, Well, Tesla justifies the sale of the vehicles with a legal argument. The approval notice for the Grünheide Giga Berlin plant, which was issued at the beginning of March, made all previously granted partial approvals unnecessary. As a result, the ancillary provisions contained therein are no longer effective, said Tesla in its presentation. The US carmaker also explains that the vehicles produced were initially only used for system testing and that the environmental impact to be taken into account by the approval authority would not change if the vehicles were used again, including a sale. In addition, extensive rework was carried out on the vehicles and only after the plant had been commissioned. So Tesla had done extensive rework on these vehicles and fixed what was necessary to be fixed. So what do you think, friends? Do you think Tesla should sell these vehicles built for test purposes? Why do you think Tesla should sell them And why do you think Tesla should not sell them? Will this set up a bad or good precedence in the future cases? I don't know. I would like to hear your thoughts on this. But apparently LFU says no conditions are violated. Now, when asked by RBB, Brandenburg's public radio, the LFU, the Brandenburg State Office for Environment, rejected the accusation that Tesla was violating the requirements of the approval authority with the possible sale of these vehicles built for test purposes before the approval of Giga Berlin. Here's what LFU said. Tesla is free to process bodies that were created during the period of testing the operational capability and to sell them if they are marketable, explains Thomas Frey from LFU, RBB reports. Basically, the responsible agency says if Tesla thinks these cars are marketable, then Tesla can go ahead and sell them. Well, makes sense to me because after all, it is the car company that realizes and whether deems it necessary if the cars it makes are marketable. Because if the cars are not marketable, then the company cannot sell them. It will be bad press for them, right? Frey also, Thomas Frey also said follows Tesla's argument that all approvals and ancillary provisions expired when the emission control approval was granted on March 4, 2022. He also points out that the emission control law also places great emphasis on avoiding waste. So 2,000 electric vehicles made at Giga Berlin, 2,000 Tesla Model Ys made at Giga Berlin would be an amazing waste, right? So why not rework them, make them marketable, and sell to end users? Maybe at a lower cost or maybe at a full cost. I don't know. What do you think? Would you like to pay less discounted price on that, or you just, buy it at full price? In this context, according to Thomas Frey from LFU, the sale, the cannibalization for the use of spare parts and the use as replacement vehicles for customers cannot be passed. The car maker, Tesla, does not want to specify how many cars Tesla manufactured in total during the period of the investment review and how many of these vehicles could now be sold. So Tesla was approved for 2,000 vehicle bodies. I don't know, maybe Tesla built 1,000 or 500 or 600. We have seen the pictures before, but we have never counted how many we have seen outside Giga Berlin. And we don't know how many Tesla will sell, and we probably will not ever know about that. What are your thoughts? Let me know, friends. This is Armen Harayan from TalkNews.com. Please subscribe to our channel for daily Tesla news. Ring the bell after you subscribe so you don't miss my next coverage, and look forward for my next Tesla story coming today. I have some interesting things coming from Giga, Texas later today. God bless you and have a great day.